Today I am going to talk about personal experiences with the collective consciousness, and this is going to be a fun one. I apologize for coming across as a little cavalier in my delivery. The collective consciousness at this point is just no big deal to me. It just is. It's something that took about 6 months to integrate into my thinking, but based on all my personal experiences, I just couldn't negate the higher self and the collective consciousness any longer. So, pardon my cavalier delivery, but it's pretty difficult to freak me out at this point. Okay, personal experience number 1. I was on a date with a guy, rocket scientist, not really into the other side. Luckily, I went on a date with him when I was a marketing executive and wasn't out of the closet yet as a psychic medium. And he apologized to me while we were sitting there having dinner. He said, "I'm sorry that I'm just kind of sad. My mom's been in a coma for 6 months and I'm thinking about pulling the plug and I don't really know what to do." And as he's sitting there saying this, I see a capital Y-E-S with about 20 exclamation points over his head, clairvoyantly. And then I heard his mom's voice. She came through and said, "Let me go, let me go, let me go." And she wanted him to pull the plug badly. She had passed and they resuscitated her and brought her back. So she had already gotten a taste of the other side and wanted to go back. So I delivered the message and the guy never wanted to go on a second date. That was unfortunate. But I did my job as a medium. I delivered the message. That person was living. That person in a coma was living but unable to communicate. How was I able to deliver that message? Via her higher self. We all have a part of our soul that lives on the other side. It's called the higher self. Look it up on Wikipedia. It's the part of our soul that is directly connected to the divine. Catholics call it the Holy Spirit. But the Holy Spirit is like what lives inside each one of us. It's hard for me to really view that aspect of ourselves as living inside us because this is the part of our consciousness, our lower consciousness that exists in this earth plane. This is the part of our consciousness that has doubt, fear, pride, ego, jealousy, embarrassment, insecurity, all that stuff. And our higher self is, it's omnipresent, so it's actually outside the body, and it's cleaner. None of that pride and ego stuff exists with the higher self. It's you in your most perfect angelic form. So that's why it's hard for me to view the Holy Spirit and the higher self living inside me. It's really omnipresent in that respect. Number 2, I'm at a party in Beverly Hills, and every time I walk by the photographer, I can feel this pain in my stomach, and that's how I know an entity has shown up, as they pull on my life force energy, which is coming from my solar plexus chakra. The Hindus call it the Manipura. So that's why my stomach hurts when an entity shows up. They're pulling on my life force energy to feed off of me while they attach to me and communicate. And so every time I walk by the photographer, I feel this pull on my stomach. So I walk up to him and I say, "Hey, I don't know what to tell you. You got some paranormal action going on here. Can we have a chat?" And he's like, "What?" My delivery isn't as smooth as Teresa Caputo. Sorry, guys. She's a lot softer. So I tell him that I have a maternal energy and her name begins with an M. And he's like, "My mom's name is Marta, but she's still alive." And I'm like, "It's okay, it's okay. I channel the living too. Sorry. And I said, "She lives far away. She's reaching out to you. She's crying. She misses you. And she's really, really worried about you. You need to call her like right now." And my body's just overcome with anxiety. My stomach's killing me, right? I'm experiencing all this negative emotion. And he goes, "Ugh, I just got out of the hospital. If I don't call my mom every day, she thinks I'm dead." He said, "It's 10:30 in Mexico already. She probably is really, really upset and worried." Takes out his cell phone, calls her while I'm standing there and says, "Mama, no me preocupado, no me preocupado." That means, "Mom, don't worry about me," in Spanish. And as he's sitting there talking to her, all of the stress, all of the negative emotion just drains out of my body. Again, yet another example of the collective consciousness. As soon as the message is delivered and the person is calm, everything leaves my body. Everything's calm and fantastic again. Again, his mother, still alive. I just channeled a living person. I was watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians a while ago. Scott Disick's parents died, both of them, within a month of each other. As I was watching the episode, I was thinking, boy, would I love to channel for that guy. He was close to them. He was very close to them and was devastated. And all of a sudden, I felt Scott Disick's higher self show up and thank me and it was literally like a pebble skipping over water. In an instant, he communicated with me with one thought: thank you for appreciating my Lord Disick party so much. My favorite episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians is a party that he threw for himself. It's the most narcissistic, silly thing I've ever seen. He had a butler flown in from England. So ridiculous, but I loved that party so much that I was just cracking up the entire time. Now, his higher self knew that. Why? Because his higher self is all-knowing and all-present, and he knows everything. There's a part of everyone that is all-present and all-knowing. So he showed up in an instant. Thank you for appreciating my party so much. That's how quickly it happened. And the sheer speed of that is what really freaked me out. Is, boy, do I want to channel for him, and bam, thank you for appreciating my Lord Disick. I mean, it was just instant, the speed. Ivanka Trump, I was on Amazon appreciating her shoes. She's got some pretty cool shoe designs. And I was on there just flipping through the shoes thinking, girl, you got some awesome shoes going on here. Bam, felt her show up in my stomach and say thank you. We're all connected. Now, this is all happening to all of us. Whether your antenna's up or not, this is all going on around us, right? Don't cheat on your husband. Don't cheat on your wife. Because their gut's going to bother them. And do you know why their gut's going to bother them? It's because their higher self knows that you're cheating on them. Because they see everything. Your gut is directly connected to your higher self. So they're going to send you, he's cheating, he's cheating, he's cheating, he's cheating. Don't talk smack. Because these higher selves know you're talking negatively about them. All right, now, a video just wouldn't be a video without me talking about my buddy, Mark Foster, lead singer of Foster the People. Love this guy. He's awesome. He and I have a fantastic soul connection. I have his higher self on speed dial. Originally, I thought this was just because of what happens when a medium has a crush on somebody. When I read for people, how do I get an entity to show up? I cast love at them. Bam, they show up. Casting love at souls is like passing out free ice cream cones. They're going to show up and they're going to take the ice cream cone. So that's why I thought I had his higher self on speed dial, but it's actually because we have a nice little soul connection going on between the two of us. So most of my soul connection I learned from him. He's the one, his higher self is really the one that educated me on how it works. And he specifically said, you are talking directly to my soul. Do you understand that? I think, I feel, I notice, I analyze, I recognize. Heart and soul, you are talking to my soul. That is my higher self. My higher self is me. So he's been very clear on educating me with how it works. And so he said, you know what? I'm going to prove to you how closely connected we are. I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to freak you out, and I'm going to prove to you how closely connected we really all are to each other. So, I have a medium friend named Ella. She is the only other professional psychic medium I know that has the ability to channel the living via their higher selves. Okay? So, 3 days later, after Mark says, I'm going to prove it to you, 3 days later, my friend Ella calls me and says, hey, your Mark Foster is here. He has a message for you. And I said, okay, what is it? Hey, silly bear, why don't you go take a shower? By the way, you put way too much cream in your coffee. Okay? Now, what is the significance of what my friend Ella just channeled from Mark Foster's higher self? Let's look. I wrote it down. Number 1, silly bear is the term of endearment I call my cat. My best friend didn't even know that, but Mark Foster's higher self did. Number 2, I didn't have any electricity that day, so I wasn't able to take a shower because my hot water heater is electric. No electricity equals no shower. Nobody knew that because I had spent the entire day in my condo looking disgusting. Yeah, that's interesting. But Mark's higher self knew it because he's omnipresent and all-knowing, just like everybody else's higher self. Number 3, I take coffee with my cream. I take this much coffee and like this much cream. He knew that too. He knew how I took my coffee. Okay? So I was on the phone with my friend Ella, who lives in Pennsylvania, by the way, with my jaw on the floor. It's pretty hard to freak me out. But that's where I was like, okay. Mark Foster proved it to me how truly, truly connected we all are. Now this is meant to make you feel good, not freaked out. In the beginning, I was a little bit like, say what? But you're really not supposed to be freaked out by it. You're supposed to think, hey, we're all connected. And we're all in this together. So I want people to find solace in the fact that you're not alone, and find solace in the fact that your deceased loved ones are up there hanging out with your higher self. If you're a widow or a widower, your partner, no matter whether you spent 35 years together, 50 years together, whatever, they're up there hanging out with your higher self. So be comforted by that. Be comforted by the fact that we're all connected, because I think it's wonderful and amazing and beautiful now. So that's all for now. In the meantime, take care and be well. Thank you.